This is Gemara Metziah, Daf Pei Aleph, and we're holding on Pei Amid Beis, the 3 lines from the wide lines as we quote the din of the Mishnah. The Mishnah said that any time v'kulan, in all cases shamru tola shelcha v'havei ma'is, take your item and pay me for it. From that moment and onward, the shomer is considered a shomer chinam. As he said, I'm done. Take the item. Says the Gemara Tanan. Also, we learned in our Mishnah. Omer loy shayel shalach. If a borrower said to the lender, "Send it to me," vishalcha, and the lender sent the animal, umeisa, and the animal died on the road, chayiv, the borrower is obligated to pay back, even though he never actually got the animal. But once he said to send it, it is under his jurisdiction and he has to pay for it. And similarly, similarly in the reverse, if the lender says send back the item and he does, then in the reverse, the lender is the one that takes over responsibility. It says the Gemara, in that reverse case, when the lender says send it back, it is only if it's within the days of the she'ilah, then the potter, the borrower is going to be potter even once it's in his possession, even while it is in possession, cause the days of she'ilah, then the days of she'ilah will have elapsed. So Masav Rav Nachman bar Papa v'kol shamer tal shelcha v'avimai shemer chinam asks the Gemara from our Mishnah. The Mishnah seems to say that once he sends it, it's over. So regardless of whether it's within the Yemei's she'ilah or not, says the Gemara as we turn over to Pei Aleph Amud Aleph ha'amre ha'gemartiv schar sachir. This implies, this is part of the kasha, this implies that where he merely says gamartiv, he didn't say send it back. As the Tabrashi says, don't say that once the Bailim know that the days of the Omnis ended, it's Pater HaShemer. It doesn't sound that way. Says the Gemara, Loi, ha'hava ma'is. If he said, give your cash and take your item, it's Shemer Zachar. What's the halacha going to be, says the Gemara? Then what? It's going to be a Shemer Chinam. So classically, ask the Gemara, within the Mishnah, Yachad V'kulin Shamru, Tolesh Al-Chav Avimai Shemer Chinam, 4 lines into Pe'al V'Meralim, says the Gemara. If it's true what you are suggesting, that by Gemartiv you get the status of a Shomer Sachar, so why did the Mishnah say, in all cases, if he says, Tol Shchavavim Azir Shomer Chinam, Nishmayin Gemartiv, the Mishnah should have said a case of Gemartiv. It's even more obvious if by just saying Gemartiv, you're absolved. Certainly, if you actually told him to come pick up your item, answers the Gemara, it's not that the din is wrong, there's an extra chiddush. Is a bigger chiddush. I would have thought nami loy. I would have thought that in such a scenario in which he says he's not even a shomer chinam, I would have thought he's fully absolved. Kamash Malan, then no, he still has a din of a shomer chinam. Continues the Gemara. Ega di Amri, another way of learning. Amar Rav Nachman bar Papa afanana mitanina. I also have a Mishnah of Kulin Shamro Toleshalcha Vavimai Shemrechina my love. So in this lashon, as usually the Ega di Amri is the reverse. My love, who adin the Gemara suggests is Gemar Tivloi Toleshalcha shiny. Says the Gemara Toleshalcha is going to be different. So continues the Gemara. 12 lines down, the first line is Huna. Huna Mara Meremar Kamid Ravina Rami Masnisan Umishani Tanan. He has the stira in the Mishnayis, and he answered with a Mishnah. The Mishnayis say, Umishani, and he answered Tanan. We learned in the Mishnah, V'adin the Gemara Tivraminu. I'll ask you a stira. Amr lo shoel shalach v'shalcho meisachai v'chem shashech stira. Umeshani, and how do you answer? It's going to be potter again, the reverse of that which we just said. So Ibayalahu continues the Gemara 6 lines from the wide lines with a new Shaila. Ibayalahu Petur Mishayel v'chayiv k'shemer sachar. Oidelmar shemer sachar nami lo yahave. Says the Gemara, is the borrower potter from being a shayel, but he's still a shemer sachar, different levels. So maybe when the Brisa said he's no longer a shayel, it means he's not a shayel, but he's still obligated like a shemer sachar, or maybe he's not even like shemer sachar nami lo yahave. Amar Amemar mistavra potter mishayel v'chayiv shemer sachar. Says the Gemara, he still has an obligation like a shemer sachar. Why? Hayal v'nana. Because the Maisa, he's still getting benefit, Mehane Havoi, since he's still getting benefit from the item, therefore, it's considered that he is a Shomer Sachar. Says the Gemara, this thing that Amemar just suggested, Tanya Kavosei Damemar. Let's bring a raya. Amemar just said he's considered a Shomer Sachar. Why? Because you're getting Hana. Says the Gemara, I'll bring a raya. The first one line. Someone buys Kalim from the house of an Uman, a craftsman, Lishargan Lebeis Chamov, to send them to his father-in-law of Amr Eloi. And he says to the craftsman, if they accept it from me, and I'll pay you. And he's but if they don't accept it, then I'm just going to give you the benefit that is being got from them. And what happens? He takes the items, and in classical sense, vinensa behalicha. And on the journey, the items were destroyed by vinoines. Says the Gemara, vinensa, excuse me, behalicha chayv, who's on the way to bring them the items, then he's obligated. But chazara, then he's going to be potter. Why? Can I say sachar? So what do we see? We see just like Amemar said that he sells the din of our shomer sachar. And the Gemara continues within these type of cases. Ugavra 4 lines down. There's Amle Chamr Lechavre. He sold his donkey to his farmer. They come Amtina Leida Dokta Belaini, and the buyer said, "I'm taking it to such a place to sell there." So im is davdin to mutav. If I find the buyer there, then great. Vimloi, I'm going to return it to you. Majinulani Allah. Azli brought it v'lo davna. He wasn't able to sell it, but as he was going back, isnis, there was an oines. So also with Rav Nachman, chayove. But Esi, Rav Nachman ends up alicha chayav chazara more butter. They should get say zachar. So why did he paskin his chayav amar lei chazara dehai halichahi? Why? My time asvaru b'chazirasu yilashich lezvune miloi zavna. Says the Gemara, a very simple chilik. Even on the way back, he's trying to sell this item. Let's say you would find a buyer on his journey back. Would he not sell it to him? Of course he would. So his chazara, his returning it is not a real returning it, because in essence, he's still looking for a buyer the entire time. That's the reason why, says the Gemara, even by chazara, you're going to be chayiv. We continue 12 lines from the bottom, the 2 dots, quoting the end of the Mishnah, Shamrli Vashvulacham, Shomer Sachar. If they say they'll watch for each other, it's a Shomer Sachar. I ask the Gemara, Shemir Abi Bailemi. Ask the Gemara, your case, which one is watching with the owner? Amar Papa, Damarle Shorli, Vashvulacha, Limbacher. It wasn't the same time. When originally we thought he was watching it together with his own stuff, and says the Gemara, no. You're going to watch for him the next day. Tana Rabbanan, Shamar Li, Vashvalacha, Shleni Vashlenicha, Vashilcha, Shamar Li, Vashilcha, Shleni Vashmarlacha. So they're swapping, borrowing, and watching, etc. Kula Nasa Shamar Zachal Zelazed, all called a paid watcher. Ask the Gemara Vamai, Shmir Babaylam, you're guarding with the owner, Amar Papa. Like we just answered, they're on different days. Hanu aloi, continues the Gemara. There were nahaloi, ahaloi, people who sell detergent. They had an agreement that every day one of them would go. One of them would bake bread for the rest of them. One of them said to the others, go bake bread for us. Not illegally, He says, okay, watch my coat from me. As he was coming back there, and his coat was stolen. Also, why are you chayiv? It should be considered a case that it's together with the bailim, and therefore there should be a p'tur. Echsef says the Gemara. Rav Papa was embarrassed. At that moment, he was drinking beer. He didn't actually start baking, and therefore it's not considered a case of Shmir B'Bailim. Therefore, in reality, Rav Papa was right. Says the Gemara, this is only Anicha L'man Da'amar. Pshia B'Bailim Pater Mishamachi Echsev. That's what makes sense. Rav Papa was embarrassed because he thought it was a case of Pshia B'Bailim. Ella. I say, even in the case of Pshia, you thought that in all cases of Bailim, there's a Torah of Bailim. Alaman Damar Chayiv of Pshia, Mayechsef, Allahu Yoima, Lav Didei Havev, Amar Lei, Ledizi Zelav Elon At. Please go bake for us today, though it's not really your day. He says, no problem, I'll bake for you, but with the wages that I would take for you, for baking bread for you, I want you to watch my jacket. And then, meaning so he's speaking out explicitly that they're acting for a shemer on his behalf. And then, as we turn over to Peyal from Ibay, says the Gemara, Da'asi, Ignav, the coat was stolen. That he was drinking beer. So it wasn't a case of Bebailim. 4 lines down continues the Gemara. Hanu Beitrei Davikamasku Porcha. There were 2 people who were going down a road. Hanu Beitrei Tkamasku Porcha Chadar v'Chad Gutza, one tall and one short. Aricha Rachiv Chamra, the tall guy is riding a donkey. They have Elestina, and he had linen garments. Gutza, the short guy, Milsiv Sarbola. The short guy was wrapped in a woolen coat, and he's walking on foot. When they reached the river, so they reached the river, so the short guy takes his wool coat, puts it on on the other guy's donkey. And he takes the other guy's clothing and he wraps himself with it. The water sweeps away that linen garment that he took from the guy from the donkey. So Asla made the Rava, L'Sadina, the Rava. Rava said, Chayve. Amali Rabban and the Rava, Amai. Sheila Bebailami. Why is he Chayve? It's the case of Bebailami, you should have the Patur. The special Patur that if you ever do get together, you're Pater. If he was embarrassed. L'Soif. Iglai Milsa, Debloi Daite Shakle. Came out that he did it without the other guy's possession, and without the other guy's knowledge, he took the coat, and therefore he was indeed chayiv as a shal shlemi das is a form of gezila. That's why he had to pay him back, and therefore there's no reason for him to be embarrassed, as indeed he paskined correctly. 20 lines down, he rented a donkey to his friend Amrlei. See, don't go on the river, the road by Nahar Pekoid. There's water there, and rather go on the road on Narash. There's no water there. He didn't listen. He went down the road. He was told not to. He admitted it's true. I went down the road. He told me not to, but there was no water, so I didn't listen to you. But the animal didn't drown. Amrle Rava, Mali Lishakar. He is a classical migo. He could have said I went down the other road. For the fact he said I went down this road, there was no water, he should be believed. Amrle Abaya Mali Lishakar b'makam edim loyam rinan. There were edim in this case, and therefore the migo will have no validity. Continue with the next case of the Mishnah, 15 lines from the wide lines. Shamar Liva Amar Hana Lifanai. If you ask your friend to watch something for you and he says, okay, just put it down. What's the halacha? Shomer Chinam. Amar Rav Huna. Amar Loi Hanach Lifanecha. Says Rav Huna, if he said, put it down in front of you, not in front of me, so says the Gemara, so we know in the Mishnah, Hanach Lifanai, he's a Shomer Chinam. If he said Hanach Lifanecha, he's a Shomer Chinam. Ibailu asked the Gemara, Hanach Stama Mai. If he just said to put it down, what is the din? Tashima, says the Gemara. Shamar Liv Amar Lei Hanach Lifanai, Shomer Chinam. Hastama V'loi Klam. Says we're no, of course. Who didn't know Zachar? So we have a classical stira. Ediyuk and never says the Gemara Miha. Leka Lemashna Mina. We can't bring a raya. What is going to be the din if he just says Hanach, put it down? So suggest the Gemara in reality. When someone says, put it down, Lema Kitanai, it's a Machlekes Tanayim. And Hich, this Rishos Chatzer, 8 lines from the white lines, Chayiv. Rabbi Omer, Beklom, Einay Chayiv, Ad, Shekabla Valabayis Lishmar, until he accepts to watch him. Mimai. Delmar, Kalon Kamer Rabban Hasam, is only Alba Chatzer. So Chatzer is Basti Turi, so that can be watched. Kamerle Ayel, when he told him, come in, Ayel didn't enter L'chaim, and come and watch it, Kamerle. Avalach, in our case, Shuka Lavar Niti Rabbi. But in our case, says the Gemara, when he took it in the street is not a place to watch something. He said, you watch it yourself, is what he meant to say. In his own chatzir, because he has to ask him for permission to come in. When he told me to come in, he meant, yeah, come in, I'll watch it for you. But in this case, he's not saying that. He's saying, put it down. Does he have to ask him for Rishos? Of course not. So different L'shainais, whether he indeed accepted to watch it in the case of Hanach Stam, it says the Gemara, it's Machlekes Tanoim, what the din will be, and we'll pick it up from Halveo Alamashka in the next year, B'siyata Dishmaya.